6:01 on a Wednesday afternoon. Damn Skippy, old school, Quiz Boyd 85. I have gotten the sense that you saw something that makes you feel like a championship is now a possibility. Is that the case? I thought this team was good. We said it. I thought they could go to the playoff. I still do. I think we're probably, given what they're going to lose, I think they're probably a team that is 2 years away from maybe doing something like that. When they lose some guys at the end of this year, could they put themselves in a position to make a play for it? I think they're good enough to be a top 4 team. So, like last year's TCU team, when they beat Michigan, I suspected before the Georgia game that beating was what we were going to see. There's always one team that is a little bit further along that has that look of a juggernaut team, and Georgia had that look. I don't know if I'm comparing us to that level of awesome. And even that Georgia team nearly lost a game, should have lost to Ohio State. So, get yourself in a position to dance and see what happens. I'll say this. We have a championship level offense. And I just don't know if we're deep enough defensively to win a national championship, or deep enough defensively for me to predict us to win a national championship. I think we could get to that game, and if you get to the game, you could win.
I think unequivocally this team could win a championship this year. It can. There are different years in college football where you have juggernauts that are on a different level among the elite. I don't think this is one of those years. And the status of the offense is the bigger part of the puzzle in this day and age of college football. So, as long as you're pretty good on defense, and I think they got a chance to be pretty good on defense, that's plenty with the way the game is called, the way the game is officiated. And I think Florida State's variety on offense makes them dangerous every week. We just saw it. This is one of the cool things, man, is that this is an example of a clunker of a half. It was a clunker of a first half, and you still could have scored 50 points, really, if you pushed your foot to the gas in the second half. That's better than I thought it was going to be.
Our guy, Aaron, cranked it up there. $20 in the jar. He just wants to get right, too. We're not even going to go through a read. I just feel I need to pop that on the screen. Tinfoil hat time. I didn't even read this, so hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Well-documented FSU isn't the referee's favorites historically in the ACC. With FSU now hoping to leave the ACC, am I crazy to think the refs will now be salty and more motivated to squash our goals? Hope not.
I mean, I don't think it's that far-fetched, Aaron. Let's just say that. No, I don't think they'll go that. If it's 50-50 or if it's close, I feel like Florida State's going to lose a lot of those. It's going to be a lot of coin tosses that are lost on subjective calls, I think.
How's that filter down, though? I mean, I don't think the refs care, but it's like what? People in Charlotte float something to the ref like, hey, if we can help North Carolina win the ACC championship game, it would be.
Why don't you think the refs care?
Why do they care? What
are they going to lose? They're ACC officials. They love this conference. They're born and bred on this conference. Probably all of them are from North Carolina. Probably grew up in the mountains of North Carolina, Gastonia. And now these too good for ACC football teams going to turn up their nose at our conference. Screw them. I can see that happen. They're human beings. Look, it absolutely happened in the 90s where those games were not called evenly. But it wasn't for that reason. It was because they legitimately felt bad for the other players that Florida State was going up against. So they didn't call holding. They would call holding on Florida State. I absolutely think there's a human element that comes into play. I don't think it'll be I'm hoping, let's just put it that way. I'm hoping it won't be noticeable, but I would not be stunned. That Wake Forest game is going to be 11-18 for the whole game at Snuggy Hill. I am telling you, folks, that's why you need to get there and be loud, because it is going to be 18-11 on every play. It always is in Winston-Salem.
Pete Mercer, $20 in the jar. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you, Pete. We appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Pete. Hi, guys. My question is, why is Deion Sanders getting all the transfer portal love when Mike Norvell has been doing this for 3 years? I just get tired of
delusional. I think delusional is where we're going with that one. Yeah.
Okay. Delusional media people not giving my coach credit he deserves. Thank you, all caps.
Well, look, it's a fair enough question. I think Dion. Look, they were the worst team in Power 5 last year, and they just won on the road with a whole new team. So I think he had a different, like Norvell has completely flipped the roster compared to what it was 3 years ago. I mean, it's obviously it's not even night and day. That doesn't even do it justice. It's like night and rice pudding. Like they're two different things completely. They're not even times of day anymore. But he did it over 3 years. Dion did it in a year. Like Dion had to flip the entire thing. By the way, I think he could use Casey Roddick. I'm going to throw that out there. I think he would like Casey Roddick to still be on the team as they move forward. So I think that's more. And also, it's Dion. It's he is going to bring. He's a magnetic dude that just, and I mean magnetic, and like he is a magnet for attention, which I guess is the definition of magnetic. But yeah, so I think that's why he gets what he did at Colorado. They had 49 transfers, which is 50 transfers on a team is just incredible. And I mean, it's not incredible as in like, I don't mean that as a compliment necessarily. It's just as like, that's an incredible number. So, but look at where Florida State is ranked. I think Norvell is getting, we'll see where this season goes, but if he keeps winning games and they're going to be number 2 in the country in 2 months, he'll get plenty of love for what he's done in the transfer portal. And I mean, they sell shirts called Portal King for Mike Norvell. So he's getting some love, but I just think Dion is the story of the day. He's the story of the first part of the college football season. That win was an impressive win, considering what TCU is, because they lost a lot. But Colorado was so bad last year. That Colorado team would have lost to 2020 Florida State by 4 touchdowns. That's how bad that Colorado team was. So for him to get them to be able to win on the road at all, just win a game, is pretty remarkable. And he's a big personality, and people are going to be he's going to get a lot of attention. That's just how Dion has been for 35 years.
I mean, just think about having to get that many guys on the same page to play a football game in that short amount of time, because it's staggering to think about. So that's why it is. And for whatever reason, On3's got their team rankings in the portal. I think 247 does as well. And for whatever reason, they factor in the guys that you've lost, Sam McCall, Trayshawn Ward. These guys were calibrated as being like highly, valued pieces, which,
right.
It could be. So that's why it factors into the numbers that you see.
I didn't even check. Did Sam McCall play?
I don't know. I can.
I'll look that up. You take the next question. I got PFF. I can look that up.
I was going to say, though, I think low key, though, I don't think any head coach wants to be known as the portal guy. So I'm sure like Norvell isn't bothered by this. And other coaches that have been using the portal, like Lane Kiffin, are not like, all right, like Dion wants to take that crown and people want to talk about him synonymous with the transfer portal. That's fine by us, because I don't think any coach really wants to be known by it. Because when we bring it up to Norvell, he's quick to be like, hey, man, like 60% of our recruiting class was high school players. So don't give me that.
I was wrong. I can't look it up. It's on you. It's all about you, Aslan.
Ethan wants to know, how worried should we be that Mike Norvell has Super Bowl aspirations, or perhaps Texas, for example, comes knocking if Sark doesn't pan out?
God, one of 4,000 coaches that haven't worked out at Texas, huh? I don't think Mike would leave FSU for Texas. So I don't worry about that. The NFL, I've never asked him. He seems happy as a college coach. He likes the game. I think sort of his background suggests that he loves to coach in college, but I don't know what his aspirations are. He's a young man, and I think he'd like to win a championship here and finish what he started. I think I'd be more concerned if Florida State, I say concerned, I'd be celebrating, but if Florida State wins a national championship with Mike and we start hearing whispers about opportunities at the next level, I might get concerned about that. At that point, he may take the next challenge. I don't know.
Yeah, to me, when he first set up this organization, the way he wanted Florida State football to be, in terms of the hierarchy and the roles and the names, even the job titles, I thought, man, this guy wants to run a franchise. Like, he wants to be a professional coach. But then I look at the way he interacts with players day to day. He's not at that point of his life. He would have to change who he is in order to be a professional coach. I don't think he's ready to do that. He'd have to have less fun, in short. He'd have to have less fun with the kids. He would have to, reserve himself and become more stoic. I don't think it's in his personality yet. Now, if the NFL continues to evolve, maybe there's a way that you can be that guy and be a head coach of an NFL team. But I just don't see like 32-year-olds and 35-year-olds responding to the way Mike Norvell operates right now. I see 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds responding to the way he operates.
So Mike is a rah-rah coach who's an excellent X's and O's guy on game day. It's a really good combination. That's why he's entering a great stage of his career where the marriage at Florida State is perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I made this observation earlier. I think given how young he is, I mean, he's racing players to start practice.
Right. That's not going to work with the Dolphins, you know?
No. And he's a guy that he's a rah-rah guy. I mean, when you yell at players about finishing reps and doing the kind of stuff he does and then chase them down after a great catch or a good block, I mean, that is a rah-rah player's coach. And I think that diminishes with time. You get a little calmer with age. And you begin to wonder, what would I do if I was presented with a next challenge? But I don't think he's even close to wanting that right now. Now, everybody, and I mean everybody, should listen to offers. So I can't tell you that, you know, the Jerry Joneses of the world, now he'll be dead before he comes calling for Mike, but there are plenty of owners that, you know, fall in love with a guy in college. They see a team that was bad. Now that team is good. And they go, who's that guy? That guy seems like he knows what he's doing. I'll give him a call. And they have more money than sense, and they throw an ungodly number at you. I don't know how one would answer that. I mean, you owe it to your family and yourself and your kids to listen to that offer. We all do. But it doesn't mean that that's what he wants. So I think what he wants is to be here and to finish this thing. Now, that could change. That can change. And lots of things do in your career. It does for all of us.